Hey, what's up guys, my name is Anshul and today in this video let us briefly talk about this M4 Mac Mini that is sitting right behind of me on this desk over here, and I've been using this device from about 2 weeks now, and I think so that this is a great device, but at the same time this is one of the most overhyped devices that we have seen for this year 2025, and this is exactly that why I wanted to make this video. And one thing that I want to tell is that I'm returning this device, so this is not the device that I would be keeping for a longer run, but I just wanted to make this video and give my reasons for returning this M4 Mac Mini in this video. Now the specifications that I have for my Mac Mini M4 is a base model with just one upgrade, and that is the storage, and that is a 512GB of the variant. Now this costed me around 1100 Canadian dollars plus taxes, so about 1200 Canadian dollars, because I live in Alberta and the taxes are not very much in my province. But I would want to say one thing, that if you're spending that much amount of money, I think so that there are a lot of other options that I would want to talk about in this video, and that would just prove that why this machine is a really overhyped version, that what you are getting in the terms of the M series of the lineups of the chip in the market. Now before using this device, what I was using in my studio was an M1 Pro MacBook, and that was with, I think so it was 12 core of CPU and about 16 core of GPU, or maybe 10 core of CPU, I'm not too sure about that. But that was also one of the models that I had with 1 TB of a faster storage on the device. That did make a lot of difference in my day-to-day task, and that is exactly that why I again wanted to make this video. Now when I compared this device with my older MacBook, I was just surprised to see that even with this latest generation, the speed difference was not too much when I compared this thing with my older generation of the MacBook. And in fact, the older MacBook that I was having in the studio was a faster one in comparison to this one. And I know that now people would be saying that why I sold my other MacBook, and the reason was just because I was getting a lot of memory issues on my M1 Pro MacBook, and I just think so that I used that device to that extent that it had to be completely demolished in about 3.5 years of using that device. But I still think so that it was a very good device to start with, and I just did not want to spend some extra amount of money on a newer MacBook, because I know that we will be getting a new MacBook in the year 2026 that will be a complete redesign with a newer chip and a bunch of features that would be added to the new MacBooks of the year 2026. So yes, I did not just want to spend a lot of money on these devices. Now the thing is that I just do not want to talk about a lot of benchmarks, but if you still want to know, I compared this thing with the M3 Pro MacBook, and I was surprised to see CPU benchmark was better on the M4 series in the single core and even the multi-core. But the GPU is not really the best part of this Mac Mini M4, because again it is a 10-core GPU, and even that it is a faster GPU in my opinion, and also it is built on a 3nm versus a 5nm that what we used to get on the M1 series of the MacBook lineup. But those extra 6 cores on the M1 Pro MacBook, that does make a lot of difference when we compare that thing with this Mac Mini. Now also another difference is that the SSD speed or the storage speed on this Mac Mini M4 is not as good as what you would get with something like the base model M3 Pro MacBook or even the M2 Pro MacBook. And also the M1 Pro MacBooks are the ones that might have a faster storage in comparison to this Mac Mini M4. That does make a lot of difference in rendering. For example, if you're doing some kind of graphic intensive task on this Mac Mini M4, it would be a faster one on the M1 Pro versus this thing, because again the number of GPUs are not very much, and also the SSD speed is faster on the M1 Pro MacBooks. That was the one that I was using in the past. So yes, the difference is still there. And again, if you want to spend some extra money, and if you want to get something that is 512GB of increased storage, I think so that the best thing that you can do over here is to buy something like the MacBook the Air version, that is the M3 model, because now you can get the very same thing in the market for about $1,000 or even less if you're looking for a used device. But I think so I saw a few deals with even $1,000 on the new MacBook Airs. That is one thing that I was surprised about. And in fact, I tested a MacBook Air with the M3 chip in my nearest Best Buy, and I was surprised to see that I was able to export the entire video, that is a 15-minute one on the MacBook Air, the M3 one, in about 15 to 16 minutes. And I was able to do the very same thing on this Mac Mini M4 in about, I would say, 14 minutes or so on this system over here. So the difference is not very much. And if you're buying something like the MacBook Air M3, it is a fully fledged laptop that you can carry carry anywhere around, and that is not the thing that you can do with this Mac Mini M4. And that is one reason that why I think so that this device is really a very hyped version. And also I think so that if you're spending about 1100 Canadian dollars, you can just put 400 more Canadian dollars and buy something like the MacBook Air M4. That is another option that you have for almost the same performance, but the only thing that would be struggling on that one is just the thermal thing. And I again tested the M3 version, and I think so that the thermal limitation is not very much on this M chip. So yes, I think so if you're just doing video editing and some light 3D rendering, I think so there is not much very a difference in the real life, minus the benchmarks on this Mac Mini M4 versus the M3 MacBook Air or the M4 MacBook Air. And for myself on, I think so that I would be rather getting a MacBook Pro 14 inches, because I was able to find a few deals online with the open box product for about 1650 Canadian dollars. That is again not a bad price for a MacBook with this M4 chip, and I'm okay with not having to be rendering this same video, a 15-minute one in 15 minutes versus a 10-minute one if I had the M4 or I would say the M1 Pro MacBook. But another thing that you can just consider is that you can look for another MacBook Pro, that is the M3 Pro, and you can get those deals on the Best Buy marketplace or maybe the Amazon store for about 1799 Canadian dollars. That is again one thing that is amazing. And the M3 Pro chip, the base model, even if you go with that thing, it has I think so 16 core of GPU. That is again very much more than what you have on this Mac M4 Mini, and that is exactly that what I wanted to tell in this video. I think so this Mac Mini M4 is really an overhead machine, and when you start configuring this thing to the point where you go to this Mac Mini M4 Pro, I think so at that very point you can just buy a laptop with a screen, with a touchpad, with a keyboard, and also that thing is one thing that would be very easy to carry around. If you look at the pricing of the Mac Mini M4 Pro, I would rather get something like the M3 Pro MacBook at about 1799 Canadian dollars. That for an open box and not even a refurbished product, so something that you should be considering instead of buying the Mac Mini M4 Pro. But for my own personal case, I would be rather looking for the MacBook Air, the M4 one, or either the MacBook Pro, the M4 one, because again that is one thing that I'm getting for just about 1650 Canadian dollars on an open box sale on openbox.ca. Again, not a sponsored video, but something that I just got to know about in my own personal research, that yes, you are able to get some open box devices for an even cheaper price. And I think so for $1650, having a laptop with a great screen, a great haptic, the touchpad, having a memory card slot, and also at the same time the speakers on the MacBook Pro also are one of the best ones in the market. So yes, I would be looking forward to the 14 inches of the base MacBook M4, the Pro edition, and that is what I really suggest for the people who are looking to buy a new laptop, because again if you compare it with the MacBook Air, it does have a better fan or the thermal solution on the Pro series, better screen, better touchpad, and so much so. And if you compare the same thing with the Mac Mini M4, it is the same device in a nutshell, just minus a screen and all the other peripherals that you get to see on the MacBook Pro. And yes, that was one of the main things that I wanted to share in this video. If you have an extra budget and if you want to spend something that is more than I would say 799 Canadian dollars, you should buy something like the MacBook Pro or the MacBook Air with I would say the M3 edition, because that would again be almost a similar device as this Mac Mini M4, and the advantages are just not very much to upgrade from M3 to M4, or even upgrading from something like the M2 to M4 is also one of not the major difference that you would be able to see in the performance. And well, with that said, that was all that what I wanted to share in this video. I hope that this video was a bit more informational to you if you're looking to buy a new Mac Mini or a MacBook Pro. And if you're confused, I think so that this is one video that might have answered all the questions, because this is one thing that I was going through while making my choice to buy a new MacBook Pro for the year 2025. That was all about this video. My name is Anshul. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.